Hey everyone, it's technolockr here, and I know I haven't made a video in a while, so today's video is on putting Windows 8 onto your computer and doing a fresh install and all of that stuff. So I wanted to show you guys exactly how to do that. So before you start, you have to make sure that you first have obviously a working computer with a working OS, Windows OS. And you need to make sure that you have the ISO file of Windows 8 release preview on either a CD or a USB drive. And in my case, I have a CD right here. Now, I loaded the CD onto here using disk utility on a Mac, but you can do the same thing with a Windows computer. Just go to I'll put the link in the description, but Windows.com, and under the Windows 8 section you can download the release preview, and it'll show you how to do that. Show you how to put it onto a DVD or USB on your computer. At the bottom it'll show you. So what I'm first going to do is obviously put the CD in the computer. So open up the CD drive, put the disk in here, and it should read the ISO file correctly and open up the Windows 8 installer. I'll come back to you when that's ready. Okay, I'm back. Now, I had a problem with a couple things. First off, I was in a 32-bit version of Windows XP, so what I had to do was come back onto restart, so turn it off. Then I had to go into the BIOS, which on my computer was F2, but yours could be a different key to get into that when you boot up. And I had to change the boot order to the CD. And the reason is because when you run a 32-bit version of XP, there's no way for you to install a 64-bit version of which I found out is interesting. So I had to make sure that it was booting from a CD or DVD drive so I can install Windows 8 directly from the CD. So if you have the ISO file burned onto it or installed on a USB drive, you should be able to do it. So here we are on the Windows setup. So now you just choose your language, time, and keyboard, and that's good, so I hit next, and then you just hit install now. And if you're doing it from Windows 7 or Vista, I'm almost positive that this would work in a 32-bit version, because I don't think XP supported it. And once you get it, you will need the product key, which Microsoft gives you online. And I will go get it, and I will be back in 1 second. Okay, so once I have the product key in there, which is the generic one for everybody, you can just hit next. And by the way, the product key is free for everyone to use on the same site that you download Windows 8 from, the release preview. And anybody can use it for free. But the release preview is not exactly final, it's pretty much a beta that they will let you use. I'm going to do a fresh install, and I can format it. I'll probably just install, I'll just install it over top. Yeah, I'll format it, it's fine. Okay. So once you format your drive, or you can upgrade from Windows 7 if you want, and I don't think it'll keep anything since this is a release preview. I will come back to you when this is done, because this is like anything else. It'll just take a while, and I'll come back to you when it's done. Now, here is the setup window. So, I can personalize it. Choose black with red accents, orange, red, any of these. I'm just going to choose black and red because I like that. I'm going to name it Windows 8 Express settings. I will use Express settings. Username. I'm going to come back after I do all this. So once you do that, it says finalizing your settings. Then it says your PC will be ready in just a moment. And we'll go through the typical first boot process. And I will come back once this too is done. And here we are at the start menu. Yay! So we can scroll to the right. We have all of our tiles right here. And I don't know why it says camera. That's interesting. Let's see what it does when I click it. Okay, so that's if you had a USB webcam. So after installing Windows 8, I'd say the entire process takes about 10 to 12 minutes. It definitely takes less than the Windows 7 install process. But so far, I mean, you know, obviously I just booted it up right after, and I think it looks kind of cool. So if you hit desktop, it'll take you back to the traditional desktop that you remember from Windows 7, or Vista had some of this look to it too. So you'll find a lot of cool things. This Explorer menu is definitely changed. You will find there's an up button under the home. It looks sort of like Microsoft Word in the menus and everything. And if you hit File, say Open New Window. So this reminds me a lot of the way that Word looks. So, oh, that's interesting. If you scroll to the right or to the bottom, you'll see the bottom right-hand corner. You'll see the Start menu and everything come up, and you can go to Settings, and you can see all your speakers or headphones, your internet connection. It'll show you, and you'll have notifications. You can change that. You can turn it off right from here. Change the settings. Scroll down. The scrolling is very smooth. One thing that I really like and I'm just noticing this in the first couple minutes of using Windows 8, but one thing I'm really liking is the fluidity of the OS itself. I really like how it's really smooth, and anywhere on the screen. Oh, that's very cool. So, on anywhere on the screen, in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see your most recent app right here. And when you scroll over it, you'll see, or if you come to the bottom, go up, you'll see all the recent apps. And you can, I'm guessing, oh, you can pull them here, and then you go into. This is interesting. I've never really used Windows 8 before. So yeah, this is very cool. You can see your Xbox Live games, music, maps, SkyDrive, Store, Internet Explorer. Open that up real quick. I'm not connected to the internet, so you won't be able to see anything. but I just want to see what the Metro UI, sorry, the modern UI looks like under Windows IE 10. Oh, and I think it force closed because we don't have an internet connection, so that's interesting to note. But I want to see the desktop mode primarily, because people apparently like it much better than the other mode, which I do so far. From anywhere you can hit share, I guess. Devices, not exactly sure. And you can see the time in very large font, which is interesting. Right there you can see the date and your internet connection. So this is the traditional start menu. There's no way for you to have, well, unless you do a hack, but there's no way for this to be your traditional start menu. But one thing I'm liking is the fact that there's one section for people who, are not that affiliated with computers and like the mobile versions of stuff better. This is what that is, and then the desktop is for people like you and I, who are watching this video, who prefer the more standard thing. So yeah, I'm not connected to a network, but this is what most people will be familiar with. If you do choose to use Windows 8. Now, one thing I'm also noticing is my setup of my computer is very, very, very slow. I have a Pentium D from like 2008, 2007, running at 3.4 gigahertz dual core. The processor is actually very nice, but the video card is what is terrible. It is running, I think it's like 100 megabyte video card, and if you look at this, it's very smooth in how it comes up. It comes up really smooth and fluid, even though my hardware is not at all up to date, which I think is very cool. Also, I'm running the 64-bit under just 2 gigs of RAM, and it's also looking like it's running very well as DDR2 RAM, by the way, and it's running very, very well. And it does have gadgets, which is interesting. Let me see. So you can pull a CPU meter over here. You can pull a clock over here. So, I mean, it's pretty much Windows 7 with, to me, it's mostly Windows 7 with this feature, which some people like, some people don't. I don't care for it, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I don't find it a nuisance that we have, this weird look. And then if you scroll to the top left, you'll see the desktop right there. So it takes you to your last recent place, which I think is cool. So yeah, that is a basic overview and installation on Windows 8. So all I have to say about the beginning is make sure that if you're running a Windows XP 32-bit version, that first of all you set your BIOS to boot from whatever you're using, a USB drive, a CD, or a DVD or a USB drive. And once you have that ISO file on there, plug it in or put in the CD drive, and it should boot from there, and it should work fine. Yeah, if you have any questions, contact me at technolockr@gmail.com. Make sure that you leave your name on YouTube so I can contact you through there if I needed to. Follow us on Twitter. We have a new Twitter account. Well, not new, it was new a month ago or 2 months ago, but we've been keeping up with that. And we should have a website out. I had one earlier, the Blogspot one, but I am switching over to a better system, and that should be out within the next week or two. So stay tuned for that. That is our video. See you guys in the next video.